Hello, this is Greg Orloff with IIoT World, and I'm here with Neil Smith. Neil is the president of the consumer packaged goods industry at Schneider Electric. So welcome, Neil.
Thank you, Greg. Nice to be here.
So maybe if you could for us, just frame a little bit of what does CPG mean to Schneider, so we know what we're talking about here.
So CPG stands for consumer packaged goods, and for us that is really three principal industries: household personal care, food and beverage in all its forms, and life sciences. So today in the booth we have a very life science orientated booth, and I'm very happy to showcase our technologies in this industry.
Excellent. So maybe talk a little bit about some of the trends that you're seeing, from your clients' perspectives in those three sectors.
Yeah, so it's an industry that's going through transformation. Obviously decarbonization and sustainability is at the forefront of many of our customers' minds, and is subject to significant investment. Overlaid on this, we also see increasing complexity in their manufacturing. So the traditional methods to producing efficient production and operations is no longer sufficient. So the old way of doing things was to produce at scale. We now see personalization, we see increased regulation, so we're seeing increased complexity. So the number of SKUs are producing, the sizes of batches are reducing, we're seeing premiumization. So what we're seeing is you have to be able to manage production in a different way.
I see. So maybe elaborate on that a little bit. So what does that mean for any one of those verticals?
Okay. So what we see, let's take a life science example.
Perfect.
So one of the emerging trends we see in many of the Western worlds is it's trending towards a batch of one.
Got it.
So the ability to take your diagnostics, your blood works, and actually produce a medicine or a vaccine specifically for you. So very expensive, but this is the way the industry is going. So how do you do that? How do you manage the changeovers? How do you schedule your operations? It's no longer a batch of 100,000, it's a batch of one.
Interesting. So I know Schneider's had a lot of information on this, and you're focused on the presentations and the mission that focuses around sustainability. You've talked about energy efficiency and the role of digitalization in the life sciences group here at Hannover Messe. So can you elaborate on the specific digital technologies that are being leveraged here?
Yeah. So the first thing we talk about is having you strategize. So first thing is we engage, we work out what is most important. Then you have to digitize, and that drives efficiency as well as sustainability. So the digitization is perhaps most impactful when you can start to bring the two worlds together. We talk about the electrification of our facilities, or customers' facilities. So how do they manage the shell of their building? In life sciences, that's a regulated environment as well. It's also about 80% of their energy consumption sits in the HVAC and the heating and the cooling of a building.
Sure, that makes sense.
And then how do you bring that into production real time? So many of our customers are asking us, I can see my production yield on, say, my Pi Historian, my Pi Vision solution.
Right.
Can I see my energy consumption?
Okay.
So we're starting to see that it's no longer just a production, it's no longer about process historians, it's about how do you bring that energy footprint, your water consumption, your electrical consumption, your steam consumption, into that real-time environment. So take, like we have on show here, I don't know if you're please take the opportunity to take a look at it, our UOC,
Absolutely.
Unified Operations Center. This is where we can start to bring all of these worlds together and enable smarter, faster decision making by our customers.
So literally this is a life cycle management type of
Yes.
an approach to this, as opposed to just singularly my facility, my...
Yes,
Interesting.
Yes. And it can go at a line level, it can be at a plant level, but also we have the ability to take this at an enterprise level.
Excellent. So what have been the challenges in doing this, right? I mean, you must have seen some things that you're trying to work through. It's not always a smooth transition. So.
Yes, there's many complications. Typically we see a lot of silos.
Okay.
So you see organizational silos within an organization. So you have the facilities or the energy towers in the old days. How do you drive energy efficiency? That's one side of, say, a procurement activity. Operations is very much in the heart of many of our customers' organization. And you're talking to plant managers, COOs, and these two worlds don't necessarily come together, and they make independent decisions. And we also see a lot of customers already have the technology installed in their facilities today, but they don't understand how it can be reused and the different use cases to actually start driving both efficiency and sustainable outcomes. So a lot of what they have will already solve their problems if they use it in a different way, or they start connecting these silos. So it's often an organizational and education challenge rather than a pure technology challenge.
And I know Schneider covers a a vast array of size of clients as well, right? Maybe
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about some of the small to medium-sized organizations
Yes.
that are out there, as opposed to the 800-pound gorillas approach.
Yes, this is very interesting, and very interesting to our big customers because 90% of their carbon footprint sits in their supply chain. And these are typically small and medium enterprises. So we have the Energize program, which was our first sort of community activity. So we had 10 life science end users come together with us to form the Energize program. The Energize program is really to help them decarbonize their supply chain.
Interesting.
So this helps us identify and then engage with smaller companies. We have 500 companies identified just on this program. We're into our third year, and about 200 of those have been engaged. So this is a bit of education, but also some consulting engagement to help them to produce efficiency, procure greener energy, but also drive the decarbonization of their operations, which of course then helps our big end users as well.
Sure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So this program's scaling then, it sounds like.
Yes.
You started with 10 organizations,
10,
now you're up to
21 end users, and of course, and this is an industry-specific movement. Because of the success, we've also launched 2 other industry-specific movements, Catalyze for the semiconductor industry, and 2 weeks ago we launched Materialize, which is the triple M, so metals, mining, and what's interesting is we can see these will start to cross over. So in triple M, glass and we have a green glass focus, and glass is a significant carbon footprint for the life science industry.
Makes sense, with the vials and all the containers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
So if you can decarbonize the glass production, you start to decarbonize the end users of the life science industry as well. So you start to see this, it's no longer just an industry-specific movement. It starts to cross over and become actually a much more impactful and we talk about tipping points. You start to create an industrial tipping point within.
And this is a value-add program that Schneider's providing to these organizations,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes, and yes, we provide the services, the engagement, but also we help with our ecosystem. A lot of the solutions are not delivered by us to these smaller companies, but we bring our ecosystem together with our customers' ecosystems, and we try and mesh them together to deliver the best efficiency, the best sustainable outcomes.
Fantastic. Well, if anyone has questions on this or you want to find out more about it, feel free to drop something in the chat, and we'll make sure we get back to you about the Energize program and some of the other things that we've talked about here with Neil. So thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg. Pleasure.